Hello everyone, I am RexRed and I am back with another Ez3DTv tutorial, and today we are going to be working with lights absorption and scattering in Daz Studio, okay? And these two terms are terms that have boggled and befuddled me, and suddenly I just started to understand them, which is often the way things happen. So here we go. I will be right back. We're going to have a short splash screen and then we will commence. And yes, please do like and subscribe. We like that here. We like it especially when you subscribe, because then you may possibly, if you click the bell for notifications, get notifications and be part of our community. Good Tuesday evening to you, Angus friend. How very nice of you to opine. Very lovely to have you here, friend. Okay, we have just one moment. Clearing my throat a little bit. Okay, we have an image here that is quite interesting. This is the image that I have used for the preview of this video, but what we're going to do is we're going to mess it all up. And I think instead, I'm just going to close this down, okay? And we're going to start with a nice, fresh version of Daz so that we don't end up having it crash on us because I've been trying to do too much with the same container, so to speak. Okay. Now, all right. We are going to give this a file name, save as scene. We'll call this VDB VDB Absorption and Scattering. Okay? This isn't going to be a hugely long tutorial. If I have anything else, I may toss a few things into this tutorial, or I might just start a new tutorial on certain things. So we'll see how this goes. So what we're going to do is we have started out with a default scene. We're going to put a character into the scene, a figure into the scene. And that starts now. And what this is going to, what we are attempting to do is something that I have failed at and failed out horribly. And I've tried to use other means with which to do this. So let's put some pants on our figure and some skin. And let's choose a shape. A shape here as soon as we have skin. a shape. And we'll go with Vincent. Why not? And okay. There's Vincent. And okay, how are your eyes, Vincent? Let's take a look at your eyes and make sure they're correct. Yeah, they look pretty good, actually. All right, so we have Vincent, and we're going to give him a pose, a quick little pose. This thing right here will work. We'll go with that. And we'll give him, save this, okay, and we'll give him some hair. Why not? And let's see what we have for hair here. Some hair. Okay, how about this hair? Okay, we'll use that. And we'll go and products. We'll find this here. And default materials here. Let's see if it comes up. Sometimes it does. It did. And we'll go to poses and we'll bring this down just a little bit. Tame it down a little bit shorter. Okay. There we go. There's our figure. This is the crux. What I'm about to do now is the crux of this entire problem, okay? We're going to put him in the midst of a VDB, okay? And we will pick, let's see, this poof, okay? And now, as you can see, what's happened is the VDB is responding to light, okay? And our figure is completely obscured. We can't see any detail with the figure. This is a problem, okay? It's quite a bad problem, okay? Because you really can't make a scene when this is the case, okay? Well, the big problem right now is my camera light. So we're going to create a camera. Create a new camera. My camera light is too bright. So if I add a spotlight into the scene, it turns off the camera light. So we add a spotlight in the scene, okay? And I'm just going to drag this spotlight down under the scene so that it's not, okay. Now, what is the problem? Well, he's obscured by the VDB, okay? The VDB is obscuring him, okay? And so this isn't acceptable. This is not an acceptable image. Like if I were to render this and say, okay, it's done, you know, he's too obscured. Now, if I were to take a spotlight, okay, and we'll take the spotlight and we'll look through it. Spotlight. And if we focus that spotlight on our figure, okay, like this, and we just come down into the scene, look what happens with our light now. It's not a good thing what's happening, okay, is that our spotlight, we just try to pick an angle here with this, with our spotlight. Okay. And, all right, I guess that's probably good. And then what we do is we come here to our camera and we give the spotlights outside of the scene, but it's kind of pointing at him. And then we go to our parameters and give the spotlight some juice here, or some lumens. And we go like 9 maybe. That's still not enough. Okay, I'm not sure here. So we go and with another 5 maybe. And look what kind of happens. He starts to come out of the scene, but it's really, it's not really doing that well, okay? And what we have to do is we have to discuss 2 terms, okay? One term is scattering, okay? And the other term is absorption, okay? Just a moment. Now, for my brain, the word scattering, I could understand that because I'm a scatterbrain, probably. I could understand light scattering, okay? Because what happens when the light goes through the VDB, okay? It hits all the little particles inside the VDB. And when it hits those particles, the light scatters off of each of the little particles and hits another particle and hits another particle and hits another particle, okay? And so it keeps bouncing through the VDB instead of hitting our subject, okay? So by the time it gets to the subject, it's just not really lit the subject, okay? That is scattering, okay? Then we have another term, and it is absorption, okay? And light absorption, when it comes to your figure, and this one took me like a day for my brain to all of a sudden say, I understand it, okay? Where absorption means that when the spotlight goes through the VDB, instead of the VDB just letting the light pass through the particles absorb the light so that it doesn't make it through the VDB. So we have 2 things here. We have scattering, where it bounces off all the particles, and this is kind of complicated for my brain, but it's something you need to understand, okay? So when you put the spotlight through the VDB, there are 2 settings, okay? And if we go into our fog poof here, and we go to surfaces, you will see, and now the scattering offset, I just leave that at black right now because I don't understand it, and the absorption offset, I'm not really sure what they do yet, okay? So once I learn, we'll probably have a video on them, okay? But this scattering multiplier, I have started to understand, okay? And so the scattering and the absorption multipliers, I have started to kind of figure out. Now, they start out white like this. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make our VDB be a little more visual, okay? So what we're going to do is take our background, we'll take our environment, and we're just going to put a black backdrop in behind, okay? Like that, okay? So we have a black background. Now, and then what we're going to do is start messing with the scattering multiplier. Now, the scattering multiplier is what I have used to color my VDBs, okay? So I would say, okay, I would like this VDB to be red, okay? So I would pick the red color, and boom, the VDB is suddenly red, okay? And But what you can do is just put a little bit of red in there. So it's just slightly red, okay? Okay, so that's how, I thought, well, that's what that is it's just to color the VDB. Well, I was wrong, okay? Very, very, very wrong. Is more to it than that. We'll go with an orangey kind of color. All right, so what this scattering multiplier does is when you go into this chooses the color, but this, the light and darkness of it, decides how much it scatters, okay? So if I take, now what I'm going to do is we're going to turn off our environment. So we are just working with one light, okay? Because, and this is how this VDB responds to light. So we're going to go now into our scene environment. Let's turn off. So we only have one light we're dealing with, okay? It's kind of easier to understand what we're doing. Now the thing is with the VDB, if you want to just light a path into your scene through the VDB to your subject, you use a spotlight. But what if you want like to see the whole VDB to some degree, okay? Like you want, like right now we can see the whole thing. If I turn off the environment light, we're only going to see the path, as you can see. If I go to just scene only, then you're only going to see the path of the spotlight coming in, okay? You're not going to see. And so you have to keep this in mind. Welcome, people. Welcome. Please leave a like on the video if you are ever inclined. Okay, so you have to consider, do I want the entire VDB visible? And if you do, then you want to light it from some kind of global and attenuate that light to the degree that you want it lit, okay? And then you also decide, okay, I want to light the subject in my scene, but right now this subject, there's so much scattering, okay, that it's kind of, that it's this light, this VDB, is actually creating like it's scattering and scattering, and the light is coming in and scattering, and it's creating like a veil. You can't really see the character very well because it's the VDB is so it's scattering so much, okay? So if we go to our, I'm going to try to explain this even though it's kind of complicated, but if you lower this value here, and if you go from this high value to the dark value, okay, it scatters less. And if you bring it to a light value, it scatters more. So watch what happens when we scatter less. Okay? You see the light is making it through the VDB, okay, and lighting the figure. It's because it's not getting caught up. And so I can literally now come into my spotlight and I can come back here and lower the value. Is kind of like a little bit too lit, okay? So I can go into the parameters and go down to our, and bring this down to maybe like 1, okay? Now, if I go back into our cube again, and we even lower the scattering more, we still have the color, but we lower it more, okay? Even more light makes it through to our subject, but it is not it's not getting caught up in scattering and scattering and scattering and like not making it into. Now, right now, our absorption, okay, is, okay, I'm not really sure if it's high or low right now. Let's see. But if we go into the absorption, okay, now this, I think it's less absorption. So right now, if we bring this up here and go to the full absorption, okay, see, so less light made it onto our figure, okay? Because these little teeny particles are absorbing the light before it can get. It's not scattering it. It's just absorbing it. Okay, some things absorb light, and some things don't absorb light. Some things scatter light, and some substances don't scatter light. Okay, so I would think that water, like little water particles, would scatter light, and I would think dust particles would absorb light more and not scatter light as much. Okay, so that's just the kind of thought. So when we go to this absorption multiplier, if I take and make it absorb less light, okay, we bring it here. See, it made it into our figure because it wasn't absorbing the light before it got to him. Okay? And now we can say, all right, we can take our spotlight and say there's too much light. Okay? And so I can even bring this down to, say 5 maybe. Okay? Or let's go to just go to 8 maybe. Or we could go back to, we can go to 9. Yeah, so at this point, we have our subject lit. We have our VDB kind of is looking good. Let's go a little higher than this. Let's go to 1, 0. Let's try that. Or, okay, we go to 2, 0. All right, I guess that works. And then we can take and soften the light a little bit. Okay, give it a little bit of warmth. And what are you looking at? Oh, there we go. Look at the camera. Okay, and so this is how you make, so you don't have to illuminate the figure like I was doing in the last videos, which it was kind of an interesting thing to illuminate, to self-illuminate, because it wasn't, the light wasn't getting to the figure, and so I was trying to like illuminate the figure within and give the figure skin emissives. But this is the way to get your light through your VDB, okay, and into your scene. And so you have this technique, okay, where you can send the light through and light your subject, but then all of the VDB out here isn't lit. You can't see it, and you might want that to be just lit a little bit to have this kind of strong, but not have black here. So this is where you come back to your environment now, or another spotlight, or a distant light, or any other kind, or a VDB, or whatever you want, something that is an ambient light that lights the whole scene, okay? And we go back now to our scene, dome and scene, but what we do is we just bring this down some, okay, to like 0.5 or let's see, 0.05. And see, now you can still see the VDB in here, but, okay, and we could even go like 0.01. okay, where you can still kind of see the VDB, or put 003, okay, where it's lighting the whole VDB still, and you can rotate your dome the way you want so that it catches the VDB at the right angle. But that's not what's lighting our figure, okay? Our figure is being lit by the spotlight, okay? So this is how this works. Now, these other particular scattering offset and absorption offset, they don't click in my brain yet as to what they mean, okay? And your density does also play, because I can make this VDB more dense, okay? And if I make it more dense, then it possibly might actually absorb more of the scatter more. But you can just take and go to your scattering multiplier, and you can say, I would like it to scatter a little bit more. And if you bring that up, okay, because we got plenty of light coming in now from our spotlight. So we could bring this spotlight down. So you just use them all and balance this whole idea of how you want your scene to look. Okay, so we can go 1 here. So, and we see what this is, and we bring this in. And we want him to look like he's in a mist, okay, in some kind of fog, but we want him lit enough. And now this is the way to take and let the light through our VDB, okay? And so that the VDB still looks like a cloud, but it also, we go here into the surfaces, we can just bring this down a little bit, the scattering, we bring this down a little bit, and more light comes through, okay? And we go even more, okay, where is our, here, and we go to the scattering multiplier. If I bring it way down, then it's not going to catch the light hardly at all, and it's just going to be shining on our figure. So this is the way you do this, and you have your density to work in. Okay, we can go relative size with the density, and this gives us a really nice kind of image. So if you want the VDB to show more, then you would bring your scattering up, okay, like that, like this. It's going to catch the light and scatter the light. And then you may want to, now this absorption multiplier, you can absorb more of the light before it gets to him, or you can have it not absorb the light. If it doesn't absorb the light, now this, it looks like it's actually absorbing the light by bringing it up. Okay, so that absorbs light. Okay, so obviously when it gets darker, it means the VDB is absorbing the light before it gets to our subject. Okay, but if we bring it this way, they do work. That's amazing how this works. And now it's not absorbing the light, and because it's not absorbing it, it's scattering more. And then we can take our scattering multiplier and make it scatter less, and then he's going to get brighter, okay, because it's making it through the VDB to our figure. It's scattering off the VDB less. So you have to get that balance. You have to tweak it. And Art, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are working with 2 terms you may want to watch. If you don't understand this absorption and scattering, you may want to watch this from the beginning and catch this whole video. This is how you get your light through the VDB, okay? And so if I go like this is why we haven't been able to get light through, okay? Is because the scattering by default is so high on our VDB that we can't get, that it scatters instead of going through the VDB. It bounces off all the light and doesn't make it to our subject. But if we change the scattering, and this is what I've used always to change the color of the VDB, but this is how you, and so if I want it to scatter less and make it too much, so it makes, the light makes it to my figure, then you want to lower this scattering, and the blacker it goes, the more it makes it, the light makes it to your figure and scatters less. Okay, and that's how you get the light through your VDB and into to hit the subject within. So if you imagine this was roses in a vase or a rose in a vase, it's like you're this is what I was stuck with before I knew how to do this. It's like the rose is like completely obscured. It's like, how do I fix that? Well, I was lighting the rose, making the rose have emissive qualities so that it would emit color itself. And now that I understand this scattering multiplier, I can just say, I want it to scatter less and travel through the VDB and hit my subject. And suddenly we have this ability to light the rose without, and you can change the color if I want green light here, okay? Or we just go with something a little less powerful here, okay? And now this absorption multiplier, this is very strange how that works, okay? And it changes the color to some degree. And how this works in tandem, like if I change it to brown, it's going to change things in it. It just doesn't change things the way you would expect. So, okay, we have this scattering multiplier. I'd like the light to get through more, okay? So we bring this like this, and now the light is actually making it through. It's scattering less and hitting our subject, okay? And so it's going to make him green because it's going through a green kind of medium. So this is how this works. Let's go with a blue. Okay, and then we can just bring this up until he's lit enough, okay, to give us the color we want. Now this absorption here, you might want to stick with a white color on that. So, and this will give you your color, okay, of the, and then we go, we want a little bit more light to come through. So if I want more light, I can just, but I want to see more of the VDB, I bring the scattering up a little bit more, and then I go to my light, spotlight, and bring the lumens up some more as well. Okay, see, it's making it through. And we could go even a little bit higher than that. We'll go 6. It's making it through the VDB to our figure because we've turned down the scattering. So we'll go to 8. Yeah, see? So this is working very well indeed now. So we are now able to light things it's been there all along. I just didn't know how to do this. And the idea is to understand, let that absorb into your mind, okay, is that we have two terms. We have scattering, which is, that one was easy for me to kind of understand, that the light was going to hit these little teeny particles and scatter all, it would scatter before it would get to our figure, okay? And if you lower the scattering of each particle, then the light won't scatter, it will go through the VDB and hit the figure, okay? That part I could understand. The absorption part is harder for my brain to understand. And if you think of absorption also, that it has to do with light spectrum. And so that is, and there's another setting here, and I don't know how it fits in, okay? But let me see. Now with our spotlight, is it with our spotlight? Emission, okay, now this emission enable, that is another thing that, what does that do? I'm not sure. It maybe each particle emits stuff, and we can go the emission tint, and we go like this, and I'm just not really sure exactly. There are things, I'm not sure that this emission was here at first, so Daz is adding things slowly to this absorption stuff and the scattering multiplier. They were here when it first started out. I just didn't really know what to do with them. And so this absorption multiplier, that was the hard one for my brain to kind of wrap itself around. But if you just think of the light when it travels through, there's little rays of light traveling from your spotlight to your figure. And if you set the absorption high, okay, it's not going to make it to your figure. Okay, well, if you set it low, like, see now, this is really low. So that means that this VDB is absorbing the light before it gets to all these little teeny particles. Each of them are absorbing little rays of light, okay, before it gets to your figure. So if you don't want them to absorb so much, you go like this, and suddenly now our VDB is going through. This means we can go back to our spotlight. You just look at it and say, okay, well, it's too much light now. So we go 5, or we go to, and you might say, well, it looks like the same result. I've just kind of gone about it in a different way. Okay, let's go to 3. So is it the same? I don't think so. I think there's some subtle difference between. Now, he looks like he's lit about the same amount, but the VDB seems more evident, okay? So you set it the way you want your scene to look. If you want more of the VDB, then set the absorption where you want it, or less of the VDB, then set the absorption and the scattering until you like what it looks like. And so it's several things. Now there's also in this spotlight, when we look at our spotlight, we get down to the bottom here, and there's this visible in show base. Okay, display persistence. Now there's this render emitter, okay? And when I turn that on and off, what does that do? I don't know. But I believe that this is kind of important with because and it uses this word render emitter. So is it something that's only seen in the render? And if I render this, okay, look how beautiful that looks. That VDB looks really, really beautiful. So we'll go and make sure we have this at 16:9. We'll go to our render settings. Okay, and we'll go general, that's 16:9, progressive render. We'll go to maximum. Okay, we have those, and that's is set on. And optimization is cool. Okay, so on speed, so we click save, and now if we go back to our spotlight and the parameters, this is the render with the render emitter on. I believe it has something to do with how it responds to other things in the scene. But look at this. Look at how beautiful this looks now. We have him lit within our VDB, and we're able to light him to the degree that we want him lit, okay? And that is a big thing, because then we don't have to mess with putting, making his skin glow, That was just not the way really to do it, okay? And so it looks like his eyes have a little issue. Maybe they're kind of sunk into his head or something. Let's see. Let's go here. Yeah, there's something going on here. Yep, he does have an issue. So what we do is we go here to this left eye, 120. We go like that, and we go right eye, 120. And then we move this over like this. And we move this one over like that. We learned about this in an earlier tutorial. And a little bit more over this way. And as you can see also, he's got some issues. You see these little lines here? Push that in a little bit. Push this over. Okay, that kind of works. See that jaggedness? So we go into our parameters, and we just raise up our sub D level here to like 4. Bring this down to 4. 4 is enough. Now see how straight that is? Okay, that's an issue. All right. And then we also, now I was going to do another thing, and I can't seem to remember what that was. But let's go back to the camera. Okay, that was the eyes. Okay, the eyes were fixed. Are fixed. Now they don't look kind of, I could see that from like way back there, that his eyes weren't right. And so, yeah, this is how we light a figure now within a VDB. Because now if I just hide this VDB, okay, we'll hide this, and we'll just put another poof in, okay? I think it's supposed to go away, but it didn't. But if we go out of here and come back to, our poof should be gone. Okay, so this lights him, okay? Now let's just put another poof in and watch what happens. See, he's not lit enough, okay? It's like he's kind of hidden in this, and that is because of the scattering. And now, and this is the way it comes in by default. It's like, oh gosh, he looks like he's, and if you add your environment lighting and your camera light, it's just gonna be, he's gonna be like completely white. So I mean, if I just take this spotlight, we'll just delete it for a moment. Look at what my camera light does to the VDB, okay, Z? So, and that's just with a default VDB, okay? The camera light is scattering like crazy through, and it's not making it through the particles. And so we go to this right here, and we just go in here very quickly. We click our smoke cube, okay, and go to our surface. Go to our scattering multiplier and say, I want you to scatter a little bit less, okay, like this. And look at that. Suddenly, our figure pops out of the scene because it's scattering less, okay? Oh, that's the absorption. Let's go to, now the absorption one, it's absorbing the light. What do we go like this? Now it's good. We can tell. Okay. So that actually, okay, we go all the way down here. You can tell if there's less light on him. Okay, so that's with the where it's absorbing like no light. And this is where, when we go here, you'll watch and see that he'll have less light on him. If he has less light on him, it's absorbing the light. Okay, so I'm not real. The scattering one I kind of can figure out because I know what the black. So this is where it's absorbing light. This is where it's so let's let it absorb some light. Okay, and then we'll go into the scattering multiplier, and we say we want more light to hit him, so he's just even a little bit less kind of fuzzy looking. Okay. And so that's what makes him pop out, is because it's scattering less. And because it's scattering less, our light is making it through. Okay? And so just to let you know that these default, let's put a different VDB in here. Let's go into our VDB library collection. Let's see, my categories. Okay, figures will go into scene elements and VDB and sky, and we're going to go to VDB products. Okay, let's find a big gigantic cloud or something here. We'll go cloudscape products, big clouds. Big clouds. Okay, props. And let's find, I'm not sure which ones, I think these ones are here. This is a VDB. All right, let's grab this cloud. All right, now obviously our scattering is too much because it's not getting through to our subject. Okay, so we go into our scene and we go down to our VDB cloud. We come in here and we go to our scattering multiplier and we lower the scattering. And look at what we have here now. See, we can get the light into our figure through this heavy cloud. Okay, and we'll go a little bit more. It all depends on the settings that they use for these items, okay? So, it all depends on the preset and how the preset is. His eye still looks like something's wrong with it, but it's okay. So at this point we have and then the absorption. Okay, we have this absorption. This is where it absorbs less light. So if I do this, more light will get through. And if it's absorbing less light, then we could possibly have it scatter a little more. Okay? So you kind of set that up to do what you want it to do. But I think I'd like it to scatter less. And so now we have our figure popping right out of the scene in a really nice way. But we still have this beautiful VDB that could reticulate and kind of render. So this is going to do it. We got a few more minutes. I will talk to you possibly about the next video that I plan to make. And it's probably going to have to do with getting clothing, organizing clothing so you can grab it real quick. And I will show you. So this is absolutely stunning now. This balance between your VDB and your figure, okay? Very, very, very important to get this balance right, okay? So we can close this. Look how this is reticulating also. And you want to take and go, would you like to cancel this render? Yes. You want to make sure that this density is relative to size because it gives you a nice fine VDB. maybe it's not appropriate in all cases. So, all right, now I just wanted to show you something here. Now, if I go to clothing and I go to default to wardrobe, all right, we want to turn this off. And we go to wardrobe. We go dress. So if we're looking for a dress, okay, I'm going to go to my content library, okay, and now in my character section here, I have this set now so I can find all kinds of stuff. Now we're going to go to figures, and in this figures, I have this thing called clothing. So what I'm going to do is go right-click and go to create a subcategory, dress. All right. Now these are all the dresses that it found. This is everything from Genesis to Genesis 9. We select all, bring this over. Okay, it's not working. Select all. Okay, drag this over. Why aren't you? Oh, we're in the wrong category. We have to be in files. A very big distinction. You can, okay, and we're going to type in dress. That will pick up dress and dresses, okay. So select all, okay. And I guess it's going to be dress suits and dress coats and things like that also. But it's going to give you like every dress you own. And so we go here and we drag this over into dress. Okay, and now I don't have to go and do this and collect and search and uncheck this and everything. I just come over here into my clothing. And what's really nice, okay, is I can say, okay, I need some pants. All right, these are the pants. And so, and these are all my pants, okay? And what's kind of hard is you have to figure out which one, this Canadian tuxedo, I just kind of guess it's Genesis 8. It doesn't give you the info. All right, I'm not sure. Right-click. There may be a way to get info here. Okay, but what you can do is browse to the file location, or you can you add to favorites, open, add license tags, categorize. Okay, group as, create product from, show asset in smart content. Okay, so we go to here. Okay, because I have this word dress here, it wouldn't let me open it. So I think if we go like this now, and we go to show asset in smart content, it will actually do it. Okay, so this tells me this is for Genesis 9 actually. So I can just now click on this. Okay, Z, I don't have him selected. So we can go here. Select our character, and this is what's really nice. It's scene. So this is scene organization with clothing. Okay, so we can go here and put the pants on him. Now I can get rid of the shorts, and here base shorts. Okay, so then we can go back here and say, okay, now I need a shirt. So I have all my shirts here. Every shirt that I own, okay, is all in here. Let's go with this. We can right-click on it, and they show asset in smart content. And this is for Genesis 8. Okay, so when I click on it, I have to, okay, Z, I think we unselected it because I clicked on shorts. Okay, so we go back here, and we click on this, and now we know we have to auto-fit that for Genesis 8. Okay, and then we come here to shoes. It's just like you can set up all of your your high heels, and what I can do is I can just kind of put everything in here. Okay, so now we go, now with the shirt will have to be adjusted. Okay, but that's no big deal. You just push it in with the with your mesh grabber. Okay, and then we go. We have hats, we have jackets, we have vests, we have shoes. Now we go down through the shoes, okay, and we just find a pair of shoes. This, I don't know, that's kind of a little bit odd looking. Will you go with these? Oh, the sneakers. So we right click and we go show asset in, smart content. Why can't that be shown? Oh, that's because we're inside of a product. Okay, now we right click and show asset in smart content. And this is for Genesis 3. Okay, so we make sure we have our figures selected, 9, okay. Go back here, right click, and we just double click. Let's try that again. Double click, Genesis 3. I think it's male, female. Genesis 3 female. And see, so this is streamlining how you dress your character, okay? And so the pants, of course, we would use our mesh grabber and just push it in, and it will snap to his body, okay? Now this shirt kind of looks like it could use a little. See, this looks a little jagged, okay? We might be able to fix that with sub D. Again, just things you notice these little jaggy things when you're working on your figures. So where's the shirt? Okay, we go to parameters here, and yeah, see the sub D could go up. You get bumped up. Okay, now it doesn't look quite as jaggy, and we got high resolution. What if we bring that up to 5? That didn't really help a lot. Sometimes if you switch these, it will change it, but that didn't really do that much. I think it made it worse. Okay, sharp edges. So it says smooth corners and edges. Okay, that kind of helped it a little bit, but that's about the best we're going to get with that shirt. So then it's just a matter of going into the tool settings and go to our this. I don't think we need that. And we go to 5 and we select our shirt and we just start to push this in. 5 might be too much, but let's see. Go out of iRay and we just start to push this in like that. Okay, oops, and in. And I can't really tell which way these things are going here. Control L, we need some light. And so you just work on this, pushing these in until they go in and snap where they're supposed to be. Like that. See how it snaps to his body? So it's not too bad. You just kind of have to get it underneath the pants. And it snaps. It kind of knows where it's supposed to go, even though it doesn't when it's far out of its range, but once you get it kind of there, it snaps into place. And so, which is very helpful. Okay, I mean, that's kind of good enough. I could do the back, but we go back to our camera. Oh, that is our camera. We didn't lock it. All right, so we're going to go back here to our figure. And let's see. Let's get him to look at us. 0. Okay, we're back in. And this is how we do it. Okay, so, and now we got some problems with the shoes as well. We go down and take a look at them. Let's lock our camera. Lock the camera. Okay, and so we take and go to perspective view. Let's take a look at our shoes. His hair doesn't look shiny enough. It could be a little bit more shiny. So we have his pants coming through his shoes. So we have to pull that out, okay? And pull it out here so that it's not going right through his shoelaces. But that's not a big deal, okay? The shoes look like they're fitting him okay. Yeah, they're pretty cool shoes. Some nice artwork in them. Looks like his toes are kind of pushing up. Now his shoes look like they might need some sub D as well. And when you get down to Genesis 3 and stuff, a lot of times they didn't put sub D on stuff. Those are yoga shoes. So we go to surface parameters here. And the shoes are base. Okay, so they, and we go here to, they don't have any sub D on them. So let's see what happens. We could end up messing them up completely, but let's go to Edit, Object. Watch what happens when we put this on. Okay, so that just did something there. And now they're high resolution. Okay, and now we could bring this up here to 2 and 3. And suddenly they kind of look smooth. All right, we could even bump that up to 4. Okay, and the shoes now look a little bit better. So now we go back to, but it's still, we still have to pull the pants out. I'm not going to do that right now. So, all right. Go back to our camera, and the shoes kind of look better now, at least a little bit better. They have issues. We have to pull that out and all, but so what we're going to do is I'm going to do my next video on clothing in here and helping you to set up a clothing folder and how to put stuff in them. And once you go through and you say, okay, well, these are boots, and then you come through it and you say, well, I don't want these boots in there. Or like with the dresses, okay, I'm going to go through and like, okay, the underwear is certainly not a dress, okay? There's certain, okay, these shoes, they're obviously not a dress. Okay, so I can right click and just remove that reference. Yes. So and so that it's just dresses in here. And this is obviously a cleric outfit coat. It's not really a dress, okay? So, and that's another thing. So we go clothing and we got jacket, but I could also go with this jacket. And we go into our smart content, into our files, and type coat. And go to clothing, which would be wardrobe. There is it. Where are ya? Okay, we're going here. Wardrobe. Okay, now these are all my coats. We select all. We can throw that in jackets as well. And okay, so now these, this right here, this Desperado coat and holster. Okay, it is the coat and the holster, so we'll leave that there. But you go through and you look at some of these things and say, well, that's not a coat. This is a Charming Ever After jacket. Okay, so this just really, so it's just like I can go into clothing, okay, and say, okay, I want to put some pants on him, then I want to put some shirt on him, then some shoes on, and a vest, and, you know, whatever, hat, and all the hats. And you could break it down into male, female hats. I think that I wouldn't go too far with some of this. You can, but I would, you know, and you could just say like winter hats and costume hats, character hats like Viking hats and things like that. I wouldn't go too far into that, okay? Because it just takes a lot of time. There's not too many items here, okay, to kind of learn, okay, in one folder. So, but you could break it down into like ladies' hats and things like that. But it's just all the more that you have to kind of deal with in the future. And what you want to do then is after you get all of this, once you start creating this, all of your categories of stuff, this is all my figure stuff. So I got eyes. So if I want to put eyes, different eye, give them different eyes. These are all my eyes, okay? And if hair, okay, I've got all the hair here. Even though I use this to do my hair, I've got hair all. That's hair for Genesis 9. But then these are just every bit of hair that from everything. And I've got jewelry. I've got lips. So if I want to change the color of his lips, these are for Genesis 9. I don't think I've done all of that because there's only a few of them. But I do have lips. I also have down here one called makeup, which is, I think, maybe in GeoShell. Where is my makeup one? Scene elements, it might be in here. Props, utilities, okay. I'm not sure where I put that. So I thought it was in here. I don't think it's supposed to be in lips. It's eyelashes. Okay. These are all of my figures. Genesis. Okay. No, it's not in there. GeoShell. It's not in there. So, skin. Okay, this is in skin. Okay, and in the skin, I have one called makeup. Okay, which has lipstick. And these are all the lipsticks. So, this lips one could go. Delete it. Okay, because I just did this on skin. Okay, and so in there I have that makeup folder. So, but this gives me dirt and blood and scars and tattoos, everything, skin, okay? So once you get this done, then you come here, you go to your smart content, click on what products, go here, go to your content DB maintenance, and click export user data and click accept, okay? And it refreshes all of your user data. So, and this is contained in a folder. There's a folder where your user data, and what you do is you copy that folder to your data disk every so often, so that if you ever have to redo your computer, you don't lose months worth of work. Okay, it takes a while to export all this user data. So, but this is all the data that I've created. So if I ever have to put it onto a new computer, I can just re-import my user data and have all of these customized folders back. Okay, that it's taken a while for me to make them. And so we're going to go into this. I'm going to create an entire video. The next video is going to be customized, because I really can't stress how awesome it is having all of these items. See, this is skin. All right, skin is like huge, because you've got fantasy skins, and you've got scarification, you've got blush effects, you got dirt and bloody skins, and a lot of different kinds of dirt effects, and grease, and skin detailer. This is for moles and freckles and things like that you can put on your figure. Flexible skins, okay? So just, and these are the materials, anatomy, flexible skins, shaders, wardrobe. I'm not really sure that there's much in that, actually. So, but it changes the skin, their skin. So it's just basically you go in here and you can change your skin pretty easily with different kinds of skins. And these are for Genesis 9, okay? So, yeah, there's blends and transformations, okay? So you can have parts of them, but you have to put the, I think I went by it, but there's a skin you put on first, a geometry shell for Genesis 9, and then you can have little parts of their skin disappear, weird kind of things, effects with their skin, have half of their body disappear and stuff like that. So it's just, and you want to get every bit of your skin and everything. Troll skin, I can give him troll skin. He'd have like little rocks, like kind of like rocks growing out of his back and stuff. Wet and tan skin, and tan lines and all of that. Anything that has to do with skin, okay, you want in here, all right? Whether if it's a skin, skin utility that you use to lighten or darken skin or convert skin. Well, this is one-click PBR skin. So you put utilities in. You can break it up into like actual like textures and utilities. You could have two different fields, two different categories. All right, we will talk about this at length. So it's been an hour for this video. Thank you for watching. I don't know if I'm going to be back late tonight or not. Maybe not tonight. So tomorrow we will probably go into using skin into these customizations, because I really kind of want you to like, and I have this up here. This is the visual menus. Okay, and so these are amazing. You will not believe how really helpful these are. It's like for assembling things, like just this here, like this is my figure. It's like I have all my figures here, okay, all my Genesis 9 figures in here, okay, because that's kind of all I use is Genesis 9 figures. But this is Genesis 9 figures, 9.2, 9.3, 9.4, and then back. So I only have so many figures, but I have, like, I believe even my latest ones in here. So these, but I pretty much, I just use this. This is like the only Genesis 9 figure I use. I use this, and then I change his shape, the face of his shape of their face. I start out with this. I keep buying these figures because I like their skins, okay? So I use their skins, but that's down here. So we just go till this closes, go to my skins, and these are all the skins from my figures, okay? And so I can just put their skin right on from my Genesis 9 figures, put their skin right on my figure, like, immediately. Let's use Nahul's. Okay, I don't think I selected him. Okay, let's go here. Close this. We got to select our figure. Can't put it on a cloud. All right, let's see. Go to down here. Oh, there he is. And we'll put that on him. All right, now he's got Nahul's skin. Okay, they're right here. I don't have to go find the figure and find Nahul. Look in his materials folder, scroll down and look and find the materials. It's just all right here. All of my skins are right here. And there's a little picture of them. Thomas, switch his skin to Thomas's skin. Okay, and it's just immediate. Okay, so I work with the Genesis 9 figures and I create my own shapes. And I use their shapes, but I blend them, okay? And then I save them as skins. And this is here, these are my different shapes. So I can just switch him to Nego now and just change his shape from this Genesis 9 figure, from whatever I had selected, and just switch him to Nego. It changes his eye sizes, it changes everything. It just doesn't change his skin. It just changes his shape. And it may mess up his pants again, but let's see. I don't think it will. Okay, so now that's Nego, and his eyes have changed. They're looking in a different direction and all, but this is, and I can just come in here with shapes and say, well, these are people I've made. Let's go with Follis and change his. Usually I just have to go in and fix the eyes with these shapes because they're usually not, they don't fit the sockets right, unless I've created them from Genesis 9 morphs. Then the eyes usually work. But if they're from Genesis 8 or 8.1 morphs, so there's Follis right there. We can get right in here and we take a look at the face, because that's kind of the most visual thing. Okay, there's Follis. And then we go here and turn it a little more like that. Okay. And we switch then the shape here to Viger. Notice how his chin is kind of long here and all. It's just kind of picks. He's got a bump in his nose. All right. A little bit of a bump there. And we change the shape. He's got this long jaw. Okay. So it's a different shape. Some of them I base them on the same characters to a degree. I use a little bit of Alex capital here for the nose. And so these are shape 2. This is Garth. He has the same skin, okay? Just there is a difference. He's got a little bit of a cleft there in his chin. Now I have a feeling we're going to have geographs for the chin to give like really detailed chin clefts. So I have a feeling those will be coming out. So yeah, his eyes are too big. They're not quite fitting right, but it's a different. Now you notice he doesn't have as much of a dent. His lips have a different kind of shape, and we would have to take his eyes here. How big are these eyes here? Surface parameters. We go down to 110, and we go down to 110 here. Okay, now they kind of fit in the socket. So yeah. Now I mean I a lot of my figures kind of have a general kind of look to them. Now beards. This is my beards. I have all my beards in here. I can just go through them. These are the Genesis 8 beards. Let's give him this goatee. Well, we got the cloud selected again. Not going to make that mistake again. These are beards. Yeah. And we go through here. And let's see. We had a lot of them. Page 11, 12. Yeah. I have every possible beard and facial hair thing you can buy. We'll give him Raker's beard. I think he's Genesis 8. So we'll have to auto-fit that. Now there's something behind his head. I don't know what that is. Okay, so that worked. Sorta, kinda. So, yeah. So this is it. So, all right. So I'll be back, people. I'm going to play this very short splash screen, and I'll talk with you right before we head out, okay? So here we go. Well, I hope you have learned something from this today. I hope that wasn't too loud also. I will see you again in the next Eazy3DTv tutorial. Thank you. Good night to you, Angus. And you are very welcome, Art. It's very nice of you to have here. I hope your computer is doing well, that you have ironed out your issues with your computer. Thank you for watching, And I will see you in the next Ez3DTv tutorial. And yes, please do like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications if you would like to be part of the chat. Okay, so we do have a chat, a live chat here, and you can participate in the live chat in YouTube if you click the bell for all notifications. You can come in and be part of the chat and talk while we work this, and it may help you to understand what we're doing here. Okay, so thanks again for watching. I will see you again soon. Bye-bye for now, and have a wonderful night, morning, evening, brunch, late afternoon, mid-morning, whatever time is happening in your world. Have a nice one. Okay.